Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Once again, Dana44. This must be part, I don't know what numbers, some number of a lot. Today, we're going to be installing new ball joints on here, so let's get to it. For the ball joints, I bought these Mevotech. I'd not heard of Mevotech before, but these were the high-end ones that they had for sale on Rock Auto. Not sponsored, just bought them because they look good, and they were the more expensive ones, so I'm hoping they're better. When I got into it, though, I noticed these are actually really nice. They provide all sorts of stuff. So, if I can get this out of here, we've got the ball joint, which seems pretty decent quality, and I'll pull it out here in a minute and I'll point out some other stuff. But it also came with some specialty tools and things like that. So let's open these bags up and take a look. I'm actually rather impressed, and I would buy these again. Alright, first thing to note is the ball joint itself. It's actually knurled here rather than smooth, so I think that's going to go in a little bit easier and hold really well. It's greasable rather than at the bottom. It's offset, so we can actually choose which direction we want to press this in and make it accessible to be able to get to this grease zerk. And the thing I really like is, look at this. It's already got a boot, and it's, swaged in there. So that thing is already in really good shape. I don't have to worry about a boot, which is something you normally have to. It's also really tight in there, so it's less likely to get damaged. This is an upper. You can tell uppers because they've got this screw slot. I guess one other thing is it's obviously coated, maybe zinc coating. Something though, so that's going to help prevent rust. So loving all of that. In the kit, it also included another one of these thread inserts. Goes in here. I'll show you how to pull that out here in a minute. An interesting castellated nut. It actually has this, which is, it's like a cotter pin, but you just push it in and it locks. You don't need pliers, nothing. It just pushes in and snaps. Again, pretty cool. The lower ball joint, I noticed the castellated nut, and we'll take a look, I guess, in a minute, but I think it already has thread locker on it. Comes with a grease zerk, which even has a little cap. It's the little things. And look at this. It came with this little collar. It says installation adapter. But if you look at it, it fits right down on here, so that when you're pressing this in, it gives you more area to press on, and it protects the boot while you're pressing, so you're not going to press against it and damage it. Again, really cool. I mean, that's going the last mile on these, so I would definitely recommend them. And again, I paid full boat for these. This is not sponsored. Lower ball joint, similar, right? Got the boot already installed, swaged in, coated. It's in great shape. Comes with a nut that already has thread locker on it. Again, one less thing you have to do or remember to do. And again, it comes with this nice install adapter that lets you press it down in without coming up against this bottom, lip. So it gives you more space to push against. So again, loving that. Before we start pressing the ball joints into the knuckle, so I don't forget, we have this insert right here that needs to come out. This is the old one, and this is the replacement. It requires a special tool to get this thing out. And there's the part number. I'll leave a link down in the description. It's not terribly expensive, but you need to get this thing out and replace it with the new one. Keeping it square on here, where I can still see it in the camera, is a real pain in the ass. Alright, got it out. You can see it's castellated on the top, not the bottom, so that that special socket can push it in. When you're putting this one in, leave a couple of threads above. It's pretty loose right now. What we're going to do is we'll put the lower ball joint in, torque that down, and then the upper ball joint will come through here, and then we torque this sleeve down and then put a nut on. So it's loose right now, and that's totally fine. Let's go over to the bench and get the ball joints into the knuckle. To put this together, I'm just going to use this ball joint press tool. I'll put a link down in the description. If you've watched any of the other videos in this Dana 44 series, you've probably seen me use it already. This ball joint needs to get pressed right in here. Now, if you take a look, this is the cup that's going to go over the top. You can see where it hits. It doesn't fit very well on that ball joint. This is what I'm talking about, this extra mile. That fits on there perfectly, and that fits on there just like a glove. So, and that came with that ball joint. Again, I'm pretty impressed, and they didn't pay me to say that. So let's assemble all this onto here and show you how it goes in. It's just a little bit larger. I'd like to get that in. This ball joint needs to press into something, and that's what I'll use this for. So it looks like I'm going to have to push it in a little bit, take it out some slack, put this, and then push it again. Not a big deal, but just so you know, when you're working on things like this, it never seems to go just exactly as you want. Me, man. I got tired of swearing at the tool, so I just brought it over to the press. This is still part of that kit, and this is part of that kit. So I'm using the collars from it. I'm just not using the big C-clamp because, well, I have a press. Why the hell am I making it harder on myself? There, that went in nice and easy. For the upper joint, I'm going to try the tool again. The important thing to note here is the grease zerk doesn't come straight out the bottom, it comes off to the side. So you want it in a position where you can get to it for greasing. This is where the front is, so toward the front of the vehicle. So I'm going to put it basically facing that way so you can come on with a grease gun and get it. Probably not directly that way. I'm going to have it aimed a little bit inward. So something about like this. If you have it facing straight up, it's going to get in the way of the propeller shaft which comes in here. My hope is that that will be the easiest place to get to it. And if not, then, well, it'll be really hard to service it. I'll definitely grease them before I get everything assembled so that I know. Again, we'll use the install adapter that came with the ball joint, and then this cup. And then we'll hit it with the impact again. This upper ball joint, I honestly tried several things. I tried the tool, I tried doing it in the vise. It did not want to go straight. With hand tools, it's going to be doing nothing but a cuss factory. Do yourself a favor, if you don't have a press, just take it somewhere and have them press them in. It's going to save you a bunch of time and a whole lot of aggravation. You can see even with a press it can be a pain in the ass. Alright, both the ball joints are in. There's a snap ring that goes around this lower one. We'll put it in, put both of the grease zerks in, and then we can actually put it onto the axle. Of course. Alright, now it's time to put the knuckle on. Remember, This is the front, so it goes toward the cover on this. And we just put it underneath, line up both ball joints, slide it up in. Just to hold it in place, I'm going to put a nut on the top. That is not going to get tightened, it's just to keep the knuckle from falling out. And then we put the nut on the lower ball joint. Now that ball joint, the stud will want to turn inside the joint. It's got a slot. You put a screwdriver in, and then just turn it with a wrench until it gets tight, and then you can torque it down. And we torque that to 80 foot-pounds. I'm going to turn it so it doesn't fall off the stands. Alright, once you have the lower torqued, then we take the nut back off the top, and this sleeve we need to torque to 50 foot-pounds. Then we put on this top nut, then torque this upper nut down to 100 foot-pounds. Then put in your cotter pin. This has got that special key. And there we have it. Ball joints are in, torqued down. We're ready to continue assembly. We'll put in the axle shaft, put on the spindle, have to do some bearing and things like that still, so that'll be another day. This is it for today. Thanks for watching.